Hey friends, welcome back to With Purpose. This is the fourth and final episode in our series on work. I'm excited to wrap it up, and we're going to do it in a little bit of a unique way. Let me kick us off with a poem. This is a poem by Edgar Albert Guest. I can't say Albert for some reason. I want to say Alan, probably because of the other poet that's an Edgar. But Edgar Albert Guest. So this is what it says. One day, in ages dark and dim, a toiler, weary, worn, and faint, who found his task too much for him, gave voice unto a sad complaint, and seeking emphasis to give unto his trials, day ill-starred, coupled to work this adjective, this little word of terror, hard. And from that day to this has work its frightening description worn. 'Tis spoken daily by the shirk, the first cloud on the sky at morn. Today, when there are tasks to do, save that we keep ourselves on guard, with fearful doublings them we view, and think and speak of them as hard. That little but ill-chosen word has wrought great havoc with men's souls, has chilled the heart's ambition stirred, and held the past to splendid goals. Great dreams have faded and been lost, fine youth by it been sadly marred, as plants beneath a withering frost, because men thought and whispered hard. Let's think of work in terms of hope, and speak of it with words of praise, and tell the joy it is to grope along the new untrodden ways. Let's break this habit of despair, and cheerfully our task regard. The road to happiness lies there. Why think or speak of it as hard? Okay, so for the last 3 weeks, and for this fourth week, we are talking about work, and I have said many times this phrase, hard work. And you, I'm sure, have said this phrase, hard work. And I think we've put off things because we think of them as hard work. And I think Edgar Guest is getting at something here that we all miss when we use that adjective, that I miss a lot of times. And that is the dignity and the worthiness and the honor in work. Like, I think we were created to work. We can see that in what we find value in. Like when we do work at the end of the day and we see progress and we feel good about it, I think that is recognition subconsciously that we were built for work. I think if you look for me personally in my faith, I see examples of how I was built for work and how we were all created uniquely and made to do certain things for certain people at certain times in this world. And that's work, and that is good and honorable. I think when we talk about hard work with that term, we take some of that away, or we make it something to be avoided. And I don't think we should. So my last in this 4-part series of work, my last podcast about it, is a plea for you to see the worthiness in it, to see the good in it, to see it as something not to be avoided, but sought after, to be celebrated, to look at as a gift when we get to do work. Because I think it is. So, let's think of work in terms of hope and speak of it with words of praise and tell the joy it is to grope along the new untrodden ways. Let's break this habit of despair and cheerfully our task regard. The road to happiness lies there. Why think or speak of it as hard? It's time to do the work. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this series on work. It's been fun for me to think about it. I think we have lots of different perspectives, lots of ingrained, hardwirings in our brain about how we think about work and how our business culture and world thinks about work. And it's good to question those sometimes, or at least recognize them. Okay, this week on With Purpose, we have prepared 2 questions at the end of this 4-part series of work for you to think about, to wrap it all up. But before we get to those, I want to start where we always start, with gratitude. I am grateful this week for work. As I look at my life, the things I am most proud of, the things that bring me the most joy are things that required from me much effort, much input. They required work. And I'm guessing that the same is true for you. Like, things that come easy are just not what we value. So I'm grateful for work. What are you grateful for this week? Second thing, and I don't want to focus on this one this week, but what have you been putting off? Just put those things down. The first question, as we wrap up this series about work, is when in your life have you felt this dignity of work? Maybe it's a proud moment, admiring a project you just completed, accomplishing a task that you weren't sure you could do, recognizing it in somebody else's effort maybe. When have you felt or witnessed, I guess, the dignity of work? And second question for the day, as you look back across our 4-part series on work, what lesson stuck out to you the most, and do you need to revisit it this week in any way? Okay, so that's it. That's all the work we're going to talk about for this week. I hope you will join me here next week when we talk about bloat. Sounds so exciting. Bloat. I'll see you there.